Hello and welcome to our final World War II image. This image focuses on how the US changed after the war. That is to say, the domestic results of the war. With that in mind, this is a very domestic image. Just look at that perfect home and that beautiful family. Welcome to suburbia. Welcome to the US post-World War II.
Carol, remember back when I used to play in a band? We sure were good, weren't we?
These are the instruments from our World War II Battle of the Bands image. The instruments are all boxed away to signify that this image focuses on how the US changed after the war.
Carol, I want you to take a look at our beautiful baby. And isn't that soldier hat adorable?
This should remind you of the baby boom, which refers to World War II soldiers coming home and making lots of babies.
Carol, just look at our beautiful daughter. I don't know about you, but she looks like she's feeling 22.
This 22-year-old daughter should help you remember the 22nd Amendment, which stated that presidents could only serve for 2 terms. Take a look at her bandmate who doesn't want their youngest sibling to join the band. But Mom, Taylor and I are in the band. Make JoJo leave. Just like these two don't want a third band member, the 22nd Amendment stated that presidents could not serve a 3rd term in office. FDR served 4 terms as a result of World War II, but the 22nd Amendment made sure that this wouldn't happen again.
Carol, Taylor and JoJo are angels, but Nick is just a little punk. He doesn't like the conformity, the 9-to-5 jobs, the suburbia. And look at those headphones. He's always listening to music. He always has to have his beats with him.
This should help you remember the Beatniks, which was a group of young people who looked to experiment sexually and with drugs.
Carol, and the headphones aren't even the worst part. Nick won't stop playing that darn guitar.
The guitar should help you remember rock and roll music, which attempted to defy the conformity of the 1950s. Elvis Presley was the most famous rock and roller.
Carol, your dad can stay with us as long as he wants.
His hat has military camouflage and has a long bill, which should help you remember the GI Bill. This was a bill that gave various benefits to World War II veterans, just like Grandpa here.
Carol, JoJo just loves that toy car set your dad got him.
The toy car set should remind you of the Federal Aid Highway Act in 1956. Don't focus on the name of this act. Just remember that it provided the modern-day highway system.
Carol, I sure love that new painting we got. I don't understand it, but I know it looks great. And more importantly, our neighbor Steve sure is jealous.
The painting shown above the couch is a painting by Jackson Pollock. He made abstract paintings, which he would often make just by splattering paint on the canvas, just like the painting shown here.
Carol, you sure look beautiful today, and you're such a great wife.
Remember, during World War II, women had to step into the factory to help with the war effort. After the war, though, women returned to the home to help raise families.
Carol, that taffy sure looks delicious, and you even served them in your heart-shaped bowl.
This taffy in a heart-shaped bowl should help you remember the Taft-Hartley Act.
Carol, you could force those taffy makers to close shop with your famous recipe.
The Taft-Hartley Act ended the closed shop, which meant you had to be in a union to work in a particular industry.
Carol, I'm gonna go on strike. Your taffy is delicious. My waistband is furious. Okay. Maybe I'll just have one more.
Just like Bob here is ending his strike, the Taft-Hartley Act prohibited certain types of strikes, which hurt unions.
And speaking of my waistband, Carol, take a look at my new belt buckle. It's got a big sun on it. I call it, wait for it, the Sun Belt.
This belt buckle should help you remember that people moved to the South and Southwest after World War II. This region was called the Sun Belt, and people moved here because the land was cheap. And that's it for this image. Just remember this domestic image, and you'll remember the domestic results of World War II.
Carol, I sure love our family.